Good evening and welcome to the podcast. Now I'm going to solve some of the problems that you're going to see on tomorrow's quiz on rational expressions and higher order radicals. In the first problem here, I'm asked to rewrite an expression in radical form. So all I need to do is take the denominator, it becomes the index of the radical, and the numerator becomes the the power, the exponent of the radical. Alright, that means in this next one, I'm going to have the fourth root of 2n to the fifth power. Now I'm asked to go the other direction to rewrite something with a rational exponent. So this one, if there's no exponent there, it means it's really 1. So the index is going to become the denominator, and the exponent is going to become the numerator. So I'm going to have 10, oops, not n, 10b to the 1/3. The first few words in tonight's phrase are: presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Alright, the next problem. Okay, first of all, I'm going to write the denominator as 10x to the 5/3 power, and then I'm going to rewrite that as 10x to the negative 5/3 power and put that up into the numerator. Okay, now I have an equation to solve, and I'm always going to solve these by isolating the expression with the exponent and then raising both sides of the equation to a power that's equal to the reciprocal of the exponent. So that means for this one I'm going to raise both sides to the 2/3 power. That's going to cause those exponent on the left to drop out, and I'm going to get k equals, and then I'm going to use my calculator to do this. I suggest probably you do too. It'll be the easiest and fastest way. So I need to do 343, hit the exponent key, and this is very important. You must put the fraction, all fractions in these problems, in their own set of parentheses. So I get 49. And that's my solution. Okay, the next one, if I can find it, it's going to be over here. Okay, just because you have fractions and negative fractions, remember the reciprocal of a negative number is also negative. So here I'm going to raise both sides of the equation to the negative 3/2 power, and I'm going to raise 1/4 to the negative 3/2 power. That's going to give me 2x equals 1/4 to the negative 3/2. So let me do this on my calculator. So I'm going to do, in parentheses, I'm going to do 1 divided by 4. I'm going to hit the exponent key, and then I need to do negative 3 divided by 2. So parentheses, negative 3 divided by 2, close parentheses, enter, and I get 8. So 2x equals 8, and then I'm going to divide by 2, and that's going to give me x equals 4. Alright, the next few words in tonight's phrase are: Sir, said I, or Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. Okay, in this one here, I'm going to want to add 6 to both sides, because I need to get that all by itself. That's going to give me v to the 1/4 power equals 3. Then I raise both sides of the equation to the 4th, because 4 is the reciprocal of 1/4. And that gives me v equals 3 to the 4th. 3 to the 4th is 81. And that's it. Okay, now I'm asked to simplify some higher order radicals. So I always want to do a factor tree when I'm asked to do these problems. So if I have an even number, I know it's going to be divisible by 2. This would be give me 2 times 324. 324 is also divisible by 2. And that's 150, 162. Also divisible by 2, 81, and that's 9 and 9, and then 3 and 3, and 3 and 3. So I have 4 3's and 3 2's. Okay, I'm talking about the 4th root, so I want to write things in terms of factors that are to the 4th power. So I do have 4 3's, so I can do 3 to the 4th power. I only have 3 2's, so there's really nothing I can do with those 2's aside from write, just copy them into underneath the radical. Let's see, I think I got mixed up there. That's right, 2 to the 3rd power. Alright, now I go through every time I see something to the 4th power, I cross it out, and I write it outside the radical, and then I multiply what's outside there together. And what's remaining just stays there, so in this case it is 8. And that's my simplified radical. Okay, this one, let's see, 324, well, we just did something with 324. 324 breaks down to 2 and 162, 2 and 81, 9 and 9, 3 and 3. Okay, so once again I have 3 to the 4th power, and my index is 4, so I'm trying to write things just like the previous one in terms of factors of the 4th power. So I'm going to do 3 to the 4th times 2 squared. Now I go through, I have something to the 4th power, it gets crossed out, I write it outside the radical symbol, and then I multiply whatever's out there together, and I'm going to have a 4 left. Next few words in the phrase tonight are, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping. Alright, 224 n to the 15th and the 4th root of that. So let's see. Okay, let me do the 224 first. So that breaks down into 2 and 112, which is 2 and 56, which is 8 and 7, which is 2 and 4, and that's 2 and 2. So I have how many 2's? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2's and a 7. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite then my problem as, let's see, 224, it's 2 to the 5th, however I'm talking about the 4th root, so I'm going to write that as 2 to the 4th times 2, and then and that's times 7, and then 4th root of n to the 15. Okay, well let me group n15 in terms of 4th power, so I'm going to do n4, 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 and n3. And now I'm going to go through, and that's going to give me a 2 outside, and then how many n's am I going to get? 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be n cubed. So now what am I going to have on the outside? I'm going to have negative 14 n cubed, and left inside the radical, I'm going to have 14n cubed. Next few words are, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door. Alright, I think this is the last problem. I'm talking about the fifth root. I'm starting with 160, so let's do the factor tree of 160. That's 4 and 40, 2 and 2, 4 and 10, 2 and 2, and 2 and 5. Alright, here I'm talking about the fifth root. Oh, I see that I have 5 2's, so that's going to work out well. So let me rewrite 160 as 2 to the fifth times 5, and then the x and the y, well, I'm talking about fifth root, so I'm going to write x to the 6th as x to the 5th times x. I'm going to write y to the 8th as y to the 5th times y cubed. Alright, now I'm going to go in and cross out everything that it has the power of 5 and write one of them outside the radical, and then multiply what's outside together. That gives me 24xy, and then what's inside is going to multiply to be 5xy cubed. And that's it. And the final few words in tonight's phrase are, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Alright, I hope you found this screencast helpful, that someone actually watches it tonight, and get a good night's sleep, prepare for some cold weather, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.